Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. There is a force within each of us that will carry us, only if we refuse to let circumstance define us. This story isn't about luck. It's about discipline. It's about hunger. It's about pushing so hard when nobody is watching, because you know what you're building matters. And that's the energy Wandia Gichuru brought. They say success is glamorous, but the truth is that it's forged in moments no one sees, when it's 3 a.m. and the world is sleeping, but you're wide awake trying to keep a dream from dying. Sacrifice is not poetic, it's brutal. It's not the stuff of Instagram reels. It's the work of lions who bleed in silence, and that's what relentless personal sacrifice looks like. People want the crown, but they don't want the cost. They want the recognition, but not the responsibility. They want the applause, but not the pain it takes to earn it. Sacrifice means trading comfort for clarity. It means looking at the secure paycheck, the stable job, the easier route, and walking away because what you've been called to build demands more of you. You leave behind the safety net and step out on a tightrope made of faith and fire. See, in the beginning, there is no audience. There is no cheer. There are no congratulations. There's just you, a dream, and a voice inside your head asking if you've lost your mind, and yet you persist. Not because it's easy, not because it makes sense on paper, but because deep down you know you are not built for average. You are not made for mediocrity. You are not here to survive. You are here to conquer. Sacrifice isn't what breaks you. It's what builds you. When your friends are out having drinks and you're on your fourth cold cup of coffee grinding through another proposal. When the lights are out because you couldn't pay the bill, and yet you still show up to your laptop like it's your boardroom. That's when character is carved. That's when greatness is molded. It doesn't happen when you're celebrated. It happens when you're overlooked and still obsessed. Relentless sacrifice demands that you give before you receive. You serve before you earn. You commit before you're acknowledged. Most people want guarantees. They want promises, but the game doesn't work like that. It asks you to put everything on the line with no assurance that it will work. Just faith. Just resilience. Just your decision to keep walking through the fire until the fire becomes your fuel. You're going to lose friends. People will misunderstand you. Some will call you crazy. Some will say you're too intense, too ambitious, too unreasonable. Let them. That's the tax of the uncommon. That's the price of rising. Because while they sleep, you build. While they doubt, you decide. While they wait for permission, you create momentum. The cost is high. Let's not romanticize it. There are days when your body gives out before your mind does. Nights when the anxiety is louder than your confidence. Seasons when it feels like nothing is moving, and yet the pressure keeps mounting. And still, you show up. You show up broken. You show up tired. You show up confused, but you show up. And here's the thing, eventually, the sacrifice pays back with interest. Not just in money or accolades, but in becoming the kind of person who doesn't flinch under pressure. The kind of person who doesn't fold when life turns up the heat. The kind of person who has earned their voice through the furnace of affliction. That's what separates contenders from champions. That's what distinguishes noise from legacy. You don't wait for motivation. You don't wait for good days. You're not interested in balance. You're obsessed with purpose. You've made peace with the chaos. You understand that this path demands everything, and you've already decided to give it. That's the posture of warriors. That's the heartbeat of disruptors. Relentless personal sacrifice is not a phase. It's a philosophy, a way of living, a declaration that your dream matters more than your convenience. That you would rather suffer now than settle later. That legacy demands blood, sweat, and years of invisible work. You don't count the cost because you know you're built to pay it. And in the end, when the lights come on and the world finally sees what you've created, they'll call it genius. They'll say it happened overnight. Let them. You'll know the truth. You'll know it took everything, and you'll know it was worth it. Vision is a dangerous thing. It pulls you into the unknown. It demands that you see what others can't, believe what others mock, and chase what others fear. Vision isn't comfortable. It's violent. It stretches you. It confronts you. It dares you to step outside the safe perimeter of common sense, and play at a level where failure isn't just a risk, it's a companion. You see, comfort is the enemy of greatness. Comfort seduces you with the illusion of safety. It tells you that you've done enough, that you're okay, that you should be grateful and just rest. Vision doesn't entertain that. Vision disrupts your peace. It keeps you awake at night, whispering possibilities that the logical part of your brain cannot reconcile. And that's where it begins. The difference between those who lead and those who follow is not resources, not luck, not even intelligence. It's the courage to walk away from comfort, to abandon the known and step into the wilderness with nothing but belief and grit. That's what separates the visionary from the dreamer. A dreamer enjoys the thought. A visionary gets to work, because here's the truth: when you choose vision, you choose to be misunderstood. People won't get it. They'll tell you you're doing too much. They'll say it's too risky. And sometimes, when the results are slow, when the pressure is high, you'll start believing them. But that's the test. Vision isn't validated in the beginning. It's attacked. It's doubted. It's resisted. Your job is to keep moving, to hold the vision higher than the approval, to be willing to walk alone if that's what it takes. And it will take your time, your sleep, your comfort, your ego. It will strip you down until all that's left is your conviction. That's when you know it's real, when you've lost everything you thought you needed and still refuse to quit. See, most people want to grow, but they don't want to stretch. They want results but not discomfort. They want to win but still stay cozy. It doesn't work like that. Nothing extraordinary has ever been built from a place of comfort. The revolutionary builds from chaos. The trailblazer builds from uncertainty. The visionary builds in the dark. You need to understand this. The reason you feel uneasy is because your calling is larger than your circumstances. Your current environment is too small for the size of your future. That friction, that discontent, it's the signal. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are becoming. Vision is calling you forward. And when you start living beyond comfort, something powerful happens. You stop waiting for ideal conditions. You stop seeking applause. You stop hesitating. You develop a bias for action. You stop playing defense and go on the offensive. You stop surviving and begin building. You will fail. You will fall. You will question everything. But that's part of the price. Comfort gives you stability. Vision gives you growth. And growth is painful. Growth is unpredictable, but growth is the only evidence that you're alive and aligned. Let others play it safe. Let them negotiate with their potential. Let them talk about what could be. You execute. You adapt, you endure, because you know the future belongs to those who are willing to be uncomfortable today in order to lead tomorrow. You weren't born to blend in. You weren't built for mediocrity. You carry the seed of disruption, of creation, of leadership. And to bring that to life, you must choose the road less padded, the path less lit. The decisions that scare you the most are the ones that grow you the fastest. And one day, when the vision becomes visible, when the results begin to manifest, they'll ask how you did it. They'll talk about your talent. They'll talk about your luck. But you'll know it wasn't any of that. It was the decision to chase vision over comfort, to sacrifice ease for excellence, to walk into the fire because the fire is where leaders are forged. Stay uncomfortable. Stay driven. Stay faithful to the vision. Because the legacy you're building is bigger than your fear. We are not the sum of our circumstances. We are the product of our choices. The world will hand you stories, backgrounds, and environments that look like ceilings. But the truth, it's the choices you make when no one is watching that define how far you go. You don't need a perfect background. You need a decisive mindset. You don't need a lucky break. You need an unshakable will. Life will stack the odds against you and then dare you to play anyway. You were not born to be a victim of what happened to you. You were born to choose how you respond. Some people live their whole lives reacting to circumstances. They make excuses out of their environment. I was born here. I didn't have this. I was never given that. And while they're busy defending their limits, someone else with less is out there building. The difference isn't the conditions. The difference is the choice. Choice is the most powerful tool you own. It's the great equalizer. You can't choose where you start, but you can choose how you move. You can choose whether you stay bitter or get better, whether you wait for permission or take initiative, whether you complain or construct. Every single day, the world gives you the opportunity to pick who you become. Circumstances will try to convince you that you're powerless. They will show up in the form of disappointment, betrayal, debt, failure, family, politics, location, timing. But listen to me, none of that has authority over your future unless you let it. You are not what happens to you. You are what you decide to do about it. You are the response. You are the reaction. You are the decision. Some of the greatest stories were written in the worst environments. Greatness doesn't need permission. It needs vision. It needs commitment. It needs hunger, and you can have all of that right now. You don't need more time. You need more clarity. You don't need more help. You need more ownership. You don't need easier conditions. You need stronger decisions, and here's the test. What will you choose when life isn't fair? What will you choose when the door is closed, the money is gone, the team walks away? Will you freeze, or will you fight? Will you let your backstory be your excuse or your energy? The ones who win are not the ones with the smoothest path. They are the ones who refuse to let their story become a prison. They rewrite the script. They take every no and use it as fuel. They look at pain and ask what it came to teach. They look at rejection and use it as redirection. And when life screams, it's over, they whisper back, I'm just getting started. Because there's a truth that circumstances can't erase. You are the author. You have the pen. Your future is not a copy of your past unless you choose to make it so. It doesn't matter where you're from, who you know, what went wrong. What matters is what you choose to do now. Every excuse is a seed that grows into regret. Every choice is a step toward either victory or stagnation. This is why we don't wait, we don't wish, we don't whine. We choose, we act, we own. People may underestimate you, they may count you out, let them. Because when you choose discipline, when you choose resilience, when you choose boldness in the face of pressure, your life becomes the proof that circumstances mean nothing without consent. So don't lower your decisions to the level of your environment. Elevate your environment by the power of your decisions. Don't match your energy to your struggle. Raise your energy and let the struggle adapt. That's how legacies are built. That's how giants are made. The storm doesn't determine your strength. Your response does. And today, right now, you have a choice: rise or retreat, build or break, push or pause. Your destiny isn't waiting for a break. It's waiting for a decision. Pressure doesn't reveal weakness. It reveals truth. In a world obsessed with results, people forget that it's not the trophies that shape a leader. It's the tension. It's the discomfort. It's the ability to stand when everything around you is designed to make you fall. Resilience is not a quote. It's not a hashtag. It's the decision to keep moving forward when quitting makes more sense. You see, everybody has a plan until life hits back, until the deal falls through, until the bank account hits zero, until the support system collapses. That's when the crowd gets quiet. That's when the spotlight fades. That's when the real ones are separated from the spectators. Pressure doesn't destroy the strong. It introduces them, because pressure is a question. Every hardship, every trial, every setback is a question. And the question is simple. How bad do you want it? How much are you willing to endure? What are you willing to become to stay in the game? Most people fold because they've mistaken comfort for stability. But the resilient understand true stability is forged under stress. Resilience isn't built on easy wins. It's built on endurance. It's the mindset that says, if I have to crawl, I'll crawl. If I have to bleed, I'll bleed. But I won't bow, I won't break. I may bend, but I won't break. The resilient understand that pressure is not the enemy. It's the gym. It's the training ground. Every hit, every loss, every disappointment is a rep, building your capacity. That's why you can't fake resilience. You can fake status. You can fake skill. You can even fake success for a season. But pressure exposes authenticity. When the pressure comes, who you are will come to the surface. You either fall apart or fall into focus. That's the choice. You either panic or you pivot. You either collapse or you compose. The world is not short of talent. It's not short of potential. What it lacks is people who can take the hit and keep going. People who won't drown in their own emotions when things go south. People who won't break down every time they're overlooked, rejected, or criticized. Resilient people don't live in their feelings. they live in their mission. And don't get it twisted. Being resilient doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It doesn't mean you don't cry, don't bleed, don't suffer. It means you don't let that pain define the ending. You process, but you proceed. You struggle, but you show up. You hurt, but you hustle, because the vision is worth more than your comfort. Pressure doesn't scare the resilient. It sharpens them. They understand that everything they're building, everything they believe in, will be tested. Not maybe, will. And that test will not come when they are most prepared. It will come when they are tired, when they are unsure, when they are alone, and in that moment, they don't fold, they fight. You want to lead? Then learn to suffer well. Learn to stay composed when chaos erupts. Learn to control the narrative in your mind when the facts look fatal, because leadership isn't about charisma. It's about composure. It's about holding the line when the storm hits. Not because you feel strong, but because the mission doesn't care how you feel. It demands execution. Resilience under pressure is not built overnight. It's built over seasons of failing forward. It's built when you've got every reason to give up, and you don't. It's built when you show up empty, but give anyway. When you have nothing left to prove, but you keep proving to yourself that you're still in the fight. So understand this. Resilience is a lifestyle. It's not a one-time event. It's a standard, a non-negotiable, a refusal to be defeated, because at the end of the day, the resilient aren't stronger. They're just more committed. They don't have better circumstances. They've just made a better choice to stay in the fire until the fire no longer burns them. That's how legacies are built, not by avoiding pressure, but by absorbing it and turning it into power. Accountability is the throne upon which all triumphs are crowned. Everyone wants victory, but very few want to own the cost. Most people want someone to blame when things fall apart: the market, the boss, the economy, the family, the weather, everything but themselves. But the people who rise, the ones who truly build something worth their name, understand one thing: you don't get to outsource responsibility and expect to retain control. Your life is your fault. Your results are your fault. Your failures are your fault. The minute you make peace with that is the minute your life begins to change. Accountability is not punishment, it's power. It's the audacity to say, if I broke it, I can fix it. If I caused it, I can correct it. If I walked into it, I can walk out of it. That's the posture of ownership. The people who keep winning are not the most talented. They are the most responsible. They don't point fingers. They build solutions. They don't wait for apologies. They get to work. They don't run from failure. They interrogate it. They ask, what did I miss? What did I ignore? What did I allow? Because they know every outcome is a mirror. And real leaders don't argue with mirrors. See, when you take full accountability, you stop negotiating with your excuses. You stop entertaining your own distractions. You stop needing validation because results become your response. You start living with precision. You start moving with clarity. You start executing with intensity. That's what separates the elite from the average, because accountability will cost you your comfort. It will cost you your pride. It will demand that you call yourself out before the world does, but in return, it will give you control. The moment you decide to own it all, you free yourself from the prison of blame. You stop being a passenger and take the wheel of your life. The ones who triumph aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who look themselves in the mirror after falling and say, I did that, but I'm not done. They don't hide behind circumstances. They don't sugarcoat the truth. They lead from the front, even when the front line is full of fire. You can't fake accountability. You can fake charm. You can fake leadership for a while. But when pressure hits, when results are required, when decisions carry consequences, that's when accountability shows up. Or it doesn't. And when it doesn't, so does mediocrity. There is no triumph without ownership. There is no elevation without evaluation. You want to grow, start asking yourself harder questions. You want to lead, start accepting harder truths, because the world doesn't owe you clarity. You owe it to yourself to create it. Through reflection, through honesty, through accountability. The people who build empires, the ones who shift industries, the ones who inspire generations, they aren't lucky. They're accountable. They take responsibility for everything: the culture, the energy, the execution, the outcome. Even when it wasn't their fault, they act like it is. Why? Because accountability is not about blame. It's about influence. And those who own the most influence the most. Accountability means you don't get to wait for permission. It means you show up even when you're not the one who messed up. Because results don't care who's to blame. They care who's committed. They care who's consistent. They care who keeps coming back until the job is done. So if you want triumph, stop waiting for better luck. Create better standards, build better habits, make better decisions, and when you fail, because you will, fail forward, own it, learn from it, and do better. That's how you earn your crown. That's how you build your name, not in the absence of mistakes, but in the presence of relentless responsibility, because the greatest power is not being perfect, it's being accountable. The ability to stand in the ruins and say, "This is mine, and I will rebuild." That's the stuff legends are made of.